7:39 at Choice FM. It's Thursday, June 3rd, 2021. It's Dave Radigan in the studio here at Choice FM. We're live and local, and Matt's here. Of course, Matt, the morning show host here at Choice FM. It's because, he likes to wake up early, and I don't.
I am a morning person.
You are a morning person.
But 11 o'clock at night, guess what? It's bedtime.
That's
or 10
right.
o'clock, or sometimes 9 o'clock.
Well, thank you for allowing Irene and I to co-crash your show yesterday, today, this week. And, of course, we're here to mourn the loss of a very good friend of ours, Chuck Carver, the voice of the Valley. As many of you know, he's a fixture in the Valley and at WATS and WAVR for over 44 years. A very successful broadcast career, and more than a broadcaster, but a friend to the community. And so we're remembering him this morning as we mourn his loss this week. Totally unexpected. We were pleased to hear from Dr. Joe Scopoletti, CEO of the Guthrie Clinic, who's in the studio just a few minutes ago with us, and now joining us from the Bradford County Commissioner Daryl Miller. Good morning, Daryl.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Nope, happy to do it. And what a loss, really. I mean, what a surprise and what a shock. Because, I mean, Chuck's contribution to the county, to the valley, to the communities is just, yeah, you can't put it in words, quite frankly. I mean, it's just the dedication he had to this community, to this county, is just unparalleled. It really is. He had a passion for this valley.
I'm a radio guy, so I often frame him as a radio guy, and I talk about him in radio terms, but that was just one of the things that he did. That it was under the umbrella. His whole umbrella was love of community, love of family, service to both.
Absolutely. He had a passion. I mean, and to think about the dedication he had, I mean, he had a strong faith. He had a strong commitment to his family, but also the community, and you know, to the commitment that he had. Again, as I was coming up here this morning, believe it or not, I could hear his voice ringing in my head. Just, you know, he was just one of those people that when you were around him, he just, you know, shone through the passion he had for people and the community and the community that he served. It's just unbelievable.
Tell me about the first time you met Chuck. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was actually, the first time I met Chuck was when I was running for commissioner the first time, and ran into him doing some ads, and just the interaction I had with him, and just he was one of those people mm-hmm. that he would come up and he was just he was almost an instant friend in a way. He would come up and he was very engaging. He was one of those people that you'll never forget.
He had that curiosity, right? He wants to know what's going on.
Yeah.
He wants to know how things work, and he wasn't happy, I think, unless he knew. It's like there's a dome over the valley, right? Got to know who everyone is, what they do, how it all works. You know, just loves all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Are there any things that you guys worked together on over the years? Special projects or things that stand out in your mind?
Well, there were a lot of things, and obviously, you know, his passion for the valley shone through with, you know, his involvement in the chambers of commerce, and, you know, just being involved in the business sector. And we worked on a number of things with him, and just most recently here, I say about a year ago, he and his old partner sat down and they had a session here with us three commissioners, and we did about an hour-long show with the different business leaders within the community, just listening to what their concerns were, what their needs were, what some of the issues were in the valley. And it was kind of a neat morning.
I was listening to that, and it was so much fun to listen to.
Yeah.
The chemistry that you all had in the room, and picking on each other a little bit.
Yep.
And my favorite part, I think, might have been you guys picking on Chuck, you know, because Chuck always liked to make sure that he picked on people, but then, you know, it was the return, and it was always just so funny. And then, of course, he'd pick on it a little bit more, and it was all completely in good fun.
Yeah, it was.
But it was just so entertaining to listen to, and I know that so many other people were listening and excited about that, and that was one of the first tastes that I really got of him and how he really does things here, you know?
Yep.
Coming from up the river and doing a morning show of my own, you don't really get to listen to other people's morning shows.
Right.
So, and he never really got to listen to us either. So we just sort of knew of each other, but nothing really about each other. And it wasn't until we got together to start talking about his retirement and succession plan, and making his succession plan, that he and I really realized how similar we are and how close we are. And he had started calling me brother over this last year, and I'm sure he called a lot of people that. But I felt it. You know what I mean? We were very, very similar in all respects. So it was very, very cool. Community, family, coaching, sports. Geez, he loved sports.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
A lot of things there, and just a really wonderful guy. Any other memories of him that you'd like to share?
Well, just, he had the Christmas for Kids program that he was very passionate about. And the one thing, in fact, we recognized him as a Board of Commissioners a while back, was his contribution to the Valley through the Scholarship Challenge program. I mean, that was just something that he had a true passion for. The kids, the community, the schools, the scholastic part of kids, and, promoting education in that way. It was just
phenomenal. I mean, as we said in the newscast tribute this morning, by his own estimate, over 6,100 kids.
Yep. Over
the years. I mean, and the questions asked and all. I mean, he really was like Bradford County's Alex Trebek when it comes to it.
He absolutely was.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
I actually said to him during that last high school or the last scholarship challenge, I said, that Jeopardy host position has been open. You really ought to apply for that. And he looked at me and said, "No, I'm retired."
Yep.
It's a shame. He would have been really great at it.
Yeah, I would love to have seen him as a guest host.
Well, so we learned yesterday on the morning show from Todd that Chuck actually took the test to be a contestant on Jeopardy multiple times.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's neat.
Which is cool. I mean, how awesome would that have been for us to turn on Jeopardy one night and see Chuck Carver standing there?
Right.
He had the delivery, he had the personality, and he certainly had the interest to do it.
Yes,
it would have
did.
been interesting just to see that.
Yep.
Well, and he probably didn't get on because he might have been applying to host it as opposed to contest on it.
I actually said to him, I said, "Would you want to go on as a host or would you want to go on as a contestant?" He said, "Well, I'd want to go on as a contestant first. Then I would work my way to host."
That's funny. Whenever we meet someone in town, the conversation always goes like this: "Congratulations on being on buying Choice 102. You have big shoes to fill, and I was on Scholarship Challenge when I was a kid." That's how every single conversation goes whenever I meet anybody in regards to the radio station here. Yeah. He just had a larger than life personality and persona, and well earned too.
Absolutely.
Everywhere all the time, a lot of things to a lot of people, and he was like Johnny on the spot when it came to news. He was there for every single story, and each one of these awards that you see in this studio, honestly, too numerous to count. We sent Sherry off to count them, and we haven't seen her in 3 days. There's so many awards here. He's earned every single one of them. And I don't know of any other broadcaster, and I know a lot of broadcasters. I don't know of anybody who's ever earned as many awards as he has. And that's the truth, really, that he earned those awards.
Absolutely. So it's a true testament, again, to his commitment to the craft, and the passion that he had for, again, broadcasting in the community, and it is a true testament to his commitment.
We're speaking with Bradford County Commissioner Daryl Miller this morning, who's in with us to help us remember our friend Chuck Carver, the longtime voice of the Valley, former owner of WATS, WAVR, the stations you're listening to right now. He passed away at his home outside of Lidditz Tuesday evening unexpectedly of an apparent heart attack. Family met to make arrangements yesterday. They're starting to work on that. They're planning a service in Lidditz in the middle of June, and they are planning That's actually, I can give you the date. It is June 18th with visitation at 2 p.m. and a ceremony service at 3 p.m. Again, Friday, June 18th in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. And there are plans to do another celebration of life here in the Valley in mid-August. And the details of that are still being hammered out, but there's considerable thought being given to a stop at Yanuzzi's afterwards, which shocks none of us. So, Daryl, thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate having you here. Anything else you'd like to add or say about Chuck or to his family and friends who are listening right now?
Just, we know, and from the Board of Commissioners, from the three of us, just a heartfelt, to his family, just the loss to his family, and just, that you're in our prayers and thoughts, and just we know the sacrifices that you all had to make for him to be able to do what he did is, throughout his entire career.
It's a hard job.
Absolutely, it is. But again, our thoughts and prayers are with his wife and his children, and we're with him, and we're going to be thinking about him. And again, as I said earlier, I could hear his voice ringing in my ears as I was coming up the road. I'm not a radio listener. I shouldn't say that here in front of in a radio studio, but
we'll fix that. But when are you up for re-election?
But I just like the quiet time when I'm driving, just to clear my mind of all things. And it was an interesting ride up here, I will say.
Yeah, I agree with you, and our friend Chuck will certainly be missed. Well, thank you, Daryl, for coming in this morning and spending some time with us and making the ride. We appreciate it. Daryl Miller, Bradford County Commissioner, one of the three here in Bradford County. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you all.
You're welcome. It is 7:52. We have a tribute newscast to Chuck coming up here at 8 o'clock. It runs every half an hour this morning. In case you want to catch that or phone a friend and let them know that that'll be on so that they can hear it. It's coming up in just a few minutes. We'll also be joined in studio here shortly by a good, close personal friend of Chuck and Michelle's. Maggie Barnes joins us here in the studio, and we'll chat with her real soon as well on Choice Radio.